Hello everyone. So today we will be discussing about what you should learn before each attempt of your failure in medical coding interview. After several failed attempts at medical coding interview, I finally discovered what I was doing wrong. So in this you have to understand, this is my personal aspects, okay? Like the common mistakes I made in the interviews are like insufficient knowledge about the coding guidelines, lack of real world scenario practice, not highlighting problem solving skills, limited knowledge of local guidelines. So these things I'm completely relating to UAE, okay? So most of us, what we think is, when we become a certified coder, we think like I have enough knowledge about everything, so I'll just look at a glance and I think like, okay, everything is fine. It's not like that. Don't ever do that mistake. So insufficient knowledge of coding guidelines in this. First thing, you have to know importance of mastery in coding system. That is, you have to understand ICD guidelines, CPT and HCPCS. Even though you are a certified coder, go through everything again and again if you are planning for an interview. Second is national and regional guidelines. I was out of knowledge in this, okay? I was not at all preparing for this. I was not aware of these guidelines. So in this, mainly you have to go through HIPAA compliance as well as UAE specific coding guidelines. So they will be asking you questions from HIPAA part as well as UAE guidelines also. So you must be very clear about that. And third comes commonly overlooked coding conventions. Normally we will think, no, like exclude one, exclude two and all I'll be knowing. But what is the case there is, most of the cases the interviewer will be asking you to give an example or a example scenario for how you will be relating to exclude one, exclude two, placeholder, seventh character and all. And common scenarios where guidelines apply. You have to know the sequencing, like when we will be giving primary, when we should give secondary, how we will be coding complications, how you should code multiple conditions. These are regular questions asked, okay? So you must be very clear with all those things. In case of complication, you have to give an example when you are explaining about a complication. As well as for multiple coding, you have to give an example there. And then comes practice resources and study methods. Anyways, if you are a certified coder, you will be having your ICD, CPT books and all. So daily practice at least 10 questions to keep yourself updated. Okay, so regular practice is very must. And the second thing is lack of real world scenario practice. Like what we learned in theory, we won't be applying that exact thing in the practical. But where we are lagging in this is because whenever we do study in an academy, we will be doing questions only with multiple options. In that case, you will not be exactly applying your theoretical part in that. So make sure your theory and practical is relating. And same as said, no, like you should know how you should code that multiple diagnosis, how you should code complex procedure, how you should code follow up. All these guidelines, chapter 20, chapter 19, ICD guidelines and all, you must be very clear. And then complaints and error reduction. So whenever you're regularly practicing those questions, you will be having an idea like where you should avoid the error, how you should go through the documentation. Like case sheets will be there, case scenarios will be there. It will be almost for a page and all. Try doing that. Like most of the cases in working part, it will be like that only. Like when we are practicing for this coding exam and all, no, for that only 2 or 3 lines questions will be there. When you're working, the scenario is not like that. It will be for pages. So you have to practice case scenarios. And and whenever you're doing it, like once you correct it, find out the fault and error. Like what all things you left without coding, what you have coded additionally, why you have added the modifier, why it should not be added, everything. Learn from the mistakes. And then strategies, like start with the standard cases. In the beginning itself, don't take hard cases and all and do, like straightforward cases you can do. And the main thing is join community or groups, like most of the Telegram groups and in Facebook and all, there will be a coding group. You can join in that and you can get regular interview questions and you can practice that also. And problem solving skill, medical coding often involves complex cases where straightforward coding rules will not be applying, like it will be complicated conditions only. So in that case, you should know how to imply your guidelines and things. And next part is key problem solving abilities interviewer is mainly looking for. That is analytical thinking, like what is your ability to assess each case uniquely. Like the coder need to analyze the detail of each case, identify the relevant code, ensure compliance with the guideline. Give attention to the details, like whatever question they are asking you, please give attention and then only try to answer. Incomplete documentation, if there is incomplete document, they will be asking you if the documentation is not clear or it is incomplete, what you will do. So being a coder, you should follow up for additional notes or you should mark it as a query. Conflicting information, if a case has a conflicting codes or unclear diagnosis, explain how you would what you will do in that case. And then demonstrate adaptability, like if new guidelines are coming, you should be in a position to learn it very quickly. And showcase step by step process, like tackling complex cases, reading thorough notes, identifying discrepancies, checking guidelines. In almost all cases, no, if you are very good with your ICD and CPT guidelines, then nothing to worry there. And if you are searching for job in UAE, you must be very familiar with the local guidelines also. So here also, like if you are getting failed in one interview, you must be you must remember all those questions they have asked you and just Google it and see like what answers are exactly relating to it, and read the questions related to that question. When you are searching for question, you will be getting additional same related questions also. Go through that also, so that when you are attending the next interview, you can overcome it. Then importance of local guidelines, like regulatory compliance. Different countries have distinct health authority guidelines which coder must follow to ensure compliance. Okay, in this DHA guidelines is there, HAD guidelines is there, MOHAP guidelines is there. DHA guideline is mainly for coders in Dubai. These define the coding rules and standards for healthcare provider. HAD is for Abu Dhabi and MOHAP is for Ministry of Health and Prevention. It regulates across UAE, often requires compliance with ICD-10 AM. So if you are trying in UAE, you must be familiar with all these three. And ICD-10 AM is frequently, like it's not like all the hospitals are using ICD-10 AM. Majority are using ICD-10, so you must be familiar with that also. Modifiers and CPT adjustment, it is very important questions, like they will be asking you about the modifiers in the sense you should learn all the modifiers and keep. It's not like learning one or two, you should be very familiar with all the modifiers. And then comes scenario based adjustment. There are cases where DHA or HAD guidelines might require special coding approaches, such as coding, chronic disease management, emergency or follow-up visit, that you must be very clear. Documentation standard, local guideline might require extra documentation for certain diagnoses, that also you should know. And then utilize official resources. Make sure you use resources from DHA, HAD and MOHAP websites to stay informed about any updates in coding guidelines. Attending local workshops or certification, like pursuing training or attending workshops, will help you. Stay informed on changes. Regularly review updates from UAE Health Authority, as local guideline and coding rules can be updated frequently to align with evolving healthcare regulations. So if you are really searching for job in UAE, you must be very clear with this, otherwise it will be very difficult to get job. Okay, so these are the things like how you can be stay updated with all these things. I found that one of the biggest gap in my coding knowledge was understanding UAE specific guidelines like DHA, HAD and regulations. Once I focused on studying ICD 10 AM as well as DHA modifier rules, I was much better prepared for interview question about region specific complaints. Staying updated on local requirement helped me approach coding cases more accurately, knowing I am aligned with what expected in UAE. Okay, so these are the things, and regulations like HAD and DHA, MOHAP related questions I'll try to post in the next video. You can go through that also. I'll not say like exactly you'll be getting that questions, but you can relate your answers to that and you can stay updated with all these things so that it will be really helpful for you to clear the interview. Thank you so much. I shared this video what I experienced, and this is completely related to my experience. Okay, and I made a PPT regarding that with what all knowledge I have. So if you have any queries, you can put it as a comment. Please do go through it. Don't skip the video in between. If you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. Thank you.